Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we are going to break ground on a new song by Rush that we have not looked at before. That's actually, so far, that's every single song we've ever looked at by Rush. Today we're going to take a look at a song off the Test for Echo album from '96. It's called Half the World. This is a song that I think is generally about division. There's always someone pushing against you. We're always trying to work things out, and it can be difficult.
Differences between people in the world.
Yeah, so, and maybe this is just one of those things that is, but Neil decided to write about it, and it's a pretty good song. We don't hear it very often. I think I've heard it because I did listen to the album at one point, but it's been a while, and I definitely have not heard it very often. But I'm looking forward to hearing it because I think up till now, this is only the second song off of this album that we've looked at. Adrian, have you heard this song before?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's new ground.
It's new ground. Exactly.
Good, okay. Well, that'll make it even more interesting. All right, let's go ahead and check this out. This comes from 1997 at the Molson Amphitheater in Toronto.
Half the world loves every day.
What do you think, Adrian?
That was interesting. Yeah, I think you kind of summed it up, in the first part of the episode. I guess one way to put it is for each action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, I think that that's valid. Here, let's take a quick look at the lyrics. They follow a pattern, which is a little unusual for Neil lyrics. So, but he's done it before. But as you can see, most of the lines begin with "half the world," and half the world hates what half the world does every day. Half the world waits while half gets on with it anyway. Half the world gives while the other half takes. Half the world is, half the world was. Half the world thinks while the other half does, So half the world talks with a half a mind on what they say. Half the world walks with half a mind to run away. You get the general idea. I think it's a pretty clever lyric sheet. I mean, to me, it just speaks of division and how it's hard for us to get together on a pretty regular basis. That's an issue, and that doesn't work in our favor in solving problems. Now, it could be other things, too. I mean, I have a feeling this is one of those philosophical things that you could really take apart and spend hours on, how many different ways this song could be relating one thing to another. And yeah, kind of either the clash or the conflict or just the difference that has to either be respected or, but may result in some, conflicts and what have you. It's hard to say because you've got half the world's male, right, and half the world's female. Half say it's your fault, the other half says, no, it's your fault, or et cetera. Anyway, it's an interesting observation. I like the song. I like the song a lot. Talk about that a little bit. It reminded me, mid-'90s, by this time they had already put out some albums that they took some notes from modern artists and things that were going on in the music business. Rush has a habit of doing this as they go along. They will have their sound reflect whatever era they're in a little bit. It's obviously still Rush, but you can tell, this is from the 80s, this borrows from this, or this is from the 90s. And I can hear this borrowing a bit from the 90s, and the general grunge sound. It was more of a groove, more groove than a lot of Rush stuff was. And I think this album is kind of like that.
Yeah, one thing I saw that was amusing, it's probably not the only time that Alex has done this. There was one part where they're showing him playing guitar, and, at one point he's like, he's able to do that. And that's...
do you mean in terms of dexterity of playing and being, or do you mean just being funny?
Oh, dexterity in playing. I mean, he can, he was just doing this insanely fast riff on the guitar.
Yeah. Well, he can certainly pull that off, being Alex Lifeson. I like the way the tone of his guitar changed in certain parts of the song, like the first break after the second chorus. Got a lot more twangy and trebly.
Twangy and trebly. It sounds like single coil pickups. I don't know, though.
Could be.
I didn't get a good look at Alex's guitar. I think there are some pickups where, they're like double coil pickups, but you can hit a switch and they'll become single coil.
It kind of looks like it might be two single coils next to each other.
Yeah, it does look kind of like that.
So it could be that he's just flipped his flipped a switch to the more trebly position, often the lead position. Anyway, it sounds nice. I thought it was a good tone. But it's also distinctly him, there's no question this is Rush playing this song, but very interesting track. Sounds like some type of commentary that you can take in a lot of different directions. For each force, there is an opposing force in nature. So, well, in any case, I thought it was a really cool song, and it's nice to hear something else off of this album, because this is one of the albums we've gone to the least. So it's nice to get a second song going. So we may have to go take another look at this album in the near future. But in the meantime, folks, why don't you let us know what you thought of this song and this performance? And if you have suggestions for us, please leave those below. And in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed our presentation, please consider subscribing. And we'd really appreciate that. And we can bring these analyses to you all the time, and we have great fun with them, and I think you will too. So with that, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it, and we will catch you on the next one. All right, take care, folks.
See y'all later.